This is new. That was awkward. Okay. There's so many new things on the computer lately. I got banned from I have to tell you guys the story before we even get started. I got banned from going live on Facebook for 30 days and banned from advertising, which is fine because I don't advertise. I don't pay for advertisement on there anymore right now. And when I disputed it, I realized it was from a comment that I made on our team page yesterday on the cookies and cream Shakeology post. So Paige had written, I might actually break into your house and steal that. That was a funny thing because what night was that? Saturday night? No, it was Saturday night. Matt and I are laying on the couch watching Game of Thrones, and I had fallen asleep, or no, we were watching a movie. I had fallen asleep because I'd already seen the movie, and he was awake. It was like 10:30, and someone opens our door. We don't ever lock our door. We live on post, and it's like tiny, and we don't ever lock our door. And somebody opens the door, and I was or I thought I was asleep, but I guess I woke up. I thought everything was a dream. But Paige walked into our house. She lived with us for a year. She's a coach on our team. And she was just very tired. It was late and she had been out all day in the sun and just drove to our house like normal. Um, and just walked in the house. And Matt was like, what the hell? It was so funny. So, anyways, her comment was, I will actually break into your house for this. So she was sitting downstairs when she wrote that. And I was like, you're literally in my house right now, and I will actually cut you if you steal that from me. Apparently, Facebook took that to be hate speech and a threat, and now I'm banned from going live. That's my punishment. And I was like, I hate social media so much sometimes. Let me just tell you. Like, I was talking to a girlfriend today at lunch, and I was like, if it was not a function of my job, I would not be doing this. It all drives me crazy, but such is the world we live in. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've told my funny story. And that's part of the reason why we are not having this on Facebook rooms tonight, because I'm not allowed to be in there. Apparently, I've gotten kicked out. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. So, which is fine. I like Zoom anyway. It's no big deal. Okay. So we'll get started. Welcome to the team call. It is Thursday, May the 27th, and we were supposed to have a call tonight about just sharing success stories about what's going well in our businesses right now, what's not going well, how can we help one another improve. But the overarching theme when I've been talking to people lately is they're struggling with inviting. And so I wanted to make this call really accessible for both brand new coaches who don't really know where to start with inviting, and coaches who have been around for a long time or a little, not necessarily a long time, but for a while and have seen success, but they're struggling now with inviting. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. But before we get into that, I did want to do some recognition. It is my favorite part of every call. I love getting to recognize our team. I think I spent so long in other jobs that never got recognized that this is my favorite part. So first off, I wanted to recognize our weekly top five. The weekly top five is made up of people who are enrolling new coaches, enrolling new challengers, and who have sales in general building behind them. That's called PV. And so it's just, a math equation that my assistant does, puts together and spits it out. So I guess my second CBC is what's in there. I wish she would take it out, but she doesn't. So she's like, no, celebrate yourself. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. It's still awkward. But my second CBC is in the number one spot today. Kim Milam, who's a brand new coach with us, she is in the number two spot. Allie Lamb is in number three. Renee Koth is in number four, and Liz Nevin, who I still cannot call Liz Nevin. It's always going to be Liz Curley to me. Her maiden name. When you know somebody by their maiden name and then like they get married, and it's like Carrie. Carrie's the exact same way. I met Carrie when she was Carrie Crowther, and now she's Carrie Summers. And every time in my head, I still have to remind myself. So congratulations to the weekly top five. Keep changing lives. The 5 lives plus category SU10 and above is myself and Carrie Summers. Myself at 13, Carrie at 11. And that is, we're going to talk a little bit about this tonight, just to briefly gloss over it. But SC10 is like the gold standard of where you want to be. And I feel like, Michelle, you need to be the poster child for talking about this, since you had a you called it an inherited customer, but it's a not preferred customer. Now I'm like totally blanking. The lead program. There we go. The lead program. Because once you hit SC6 and above, and you're an Emerald and above, you get free leads. So that means when Susie gets online late at night and she signs up for the free trial of Beachbody, if you are SC6 qualified or SC5 qualified and are an Emerald coach the previous month, the next month you get free leads. Well, when you're Emerald and above and you hit SC10, which is helping 5 people enroll in the previous month, you get paid leads. Sometimes those paid leads are 3-month subscriptions. So you get $14, which, high five. I'm here for $14, right? It still helps me pay my bills. And sometimes, like Michelle this past week, you get an over $500 order that you did not work for. And every time, that's what a lot of people really don't understand, is I'll talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, I signed up for Beachbody, but I don't have a coach. And I'm like, no, friend, you do have a coach. I tell this story all the time, but my own sister, I've been a coach for 7 years. My own sister signed up for Beachbody on demand for free because she was like, well, it doesn't really matter. It was a free account. So it doesn't matter that it's not attached to you. And I'm like, no, you still are given to someone. And so when the free account turned into a paid account, you just paid some random person and not me. And so, like, it's really important that we remind people and that we enroll people as free customers too, because you literally never know when that person is going to sign up. And if they're a part of the lead generation wheel, they go to any coach that's Emerald or above, SC10 or above, if it's a paid one. So then you get free commission. And that is not a sad thing at all, is it, Michelle? Like, not a bit. I know. She's like, what is this? What is this? I'm like, that's free money. Thank you so much. Very good. So congratulations. That's a huge milestone. And so I know you are pushing for SC10 this month too, because you want free leads in June. Because again, hey, you know what? We'll talk story here in a minute about SC10 at the very last minute, but I did want to go ahead and recognize the 3 lives plus change. That's SC6 to 10 or 5 to 10. Amanda Harold, congratulations at SC9. Michelle King at SC6. Samantha Brannon at SC6. And Renee Koth at SC5, which is really exciting. I know Renee's been working really hard and has hit SC5 for the first time in 2021. So congratulations. It's a really, really big deal. Congratulations to every single person who has helped change even one person's life. Congratulations to Michelle King under her husband's account for SC4, Kendall Phones at SC4, Allie Lamb at SC2, Amy Myers at SC2, Layla Bryant at SC2, and Mara Chester at SC2. So congrats, ladies. Keep helping people. Quick little social media recognition. I've been watching. I love seeing everybody posting and seeing people share their wins on social media. And we're going to talk a little bit about this tonight too. I feel like I talk about it every time, but it's because it's that important. So congratulations to Amanda Harold. She is not on the call tonight because they had a family birthday. So I knew she wasn't going to be here, but congrats, girl, for when you watch the replay. Today is her 4-year coach anniversary, which is really, really fun. And I'll tell that story in just a second, but she just has recommitted to her new workout. I think she's doing MBF and she's already down some weight. She's already, feeling better and feeling less fluffy. And I feel like I am in the same boat with her after a month long of birthday indulgences. Like, I am ready to rid the fluff. And so I love that she's posting about that. I love that she's talking about not restricting herself and cutting out food groups, because that's such the thing to do. And so I'm proud of her for upholding a standard of health on social media. And then Megan Eden, I wanted to congratulate her. She posted this in our boot camp, but she also posted some stuff on her personal page about the actual numbers, which I thought was really cool. She is down 21 pounds since starting in January with us. And I remember, it's funny because I remember in mid to late February, she came to me and she's like, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. I don't see a single, no pounds down. I mean, a little bit is happening. And I'm like, what is it? Hold on. what do you mean a little bit? And she's like, well, I mean, like some inches are dropping, but no weight at all. And I'm like, Megan, Megan, yes, things are happening. Just stay consistent with the program. And now here she is, the end of May, 21 pounds down, taking a photo in a bathroom, which I'm like, all right, like that's great. Bathroom selfies are good too. And she's in a small scrub pants and a medium t-shirt. And if I'm not mistaken, she started at a large, extra large. So whether the scale is reflecting it or not, just keep going. I mean, it really, if you're doing the things, the results happen. They just do. And then I wanted to congratulate Samantha Brannon on her adorable post. Number one, this quote is one of my very favorite quotes that I have on a little sticky note in my office, because I, just like every other human on the planet, struggle with comparisonitis. And it's so easy. Is that me? I don't know what's happening. Sorry. Oh, I think Kim is trying to join. Hold on. And so I loved your post. Sorry. Let me just tell Kim to click the Zoom link. This is her first one. Derp, derp, derp. Sorry. She's struggling to get on. Do, do, do. But Samantha, I was going to tell you, number one, your post with, I really wanted to screenshot the one where you're doing the cheerleading, because I'm all about it. I freaking love it. I think that that is like the most fun ever. And I think that you should like continue to post all of the things, because I'm loving watching your social media right now. But I screenshotted this one instead because it's my favorite quote, and I love that you are doing the workout in the picture. So keep it up, sister. Okay, a couple of quick announcements. Actually, before we go on to that, I did want to just tell a quick story about Amanda Harrell, because I think that she deserves the extra shout out, being our longest running diamond in our team and having her 4-year coach anniversary today. I think that it's really helpful to know sometimes where people start and how it happens. Amanda was actually selling unique makeup when I met her. She like, so I don't know that she would love that I'm telling this way or not, but so much so that she had like the decal on the back of her car, like all the things with the unique makeup, totally cute, all the things. She and I were in MOPS together. I never approached her initially about coaching at all. She was very into the boxing program that she was doing at a boxing gym. I really didn't think she needed this in any capacity. Like, I always saw her as this super capable, amazing person. And this kind of leads into our inviting talk tonight too. But I was on oh good, Kim's able to join. So I was on a leadership retreat here in Hawaii, very similar to the one that I hosted back in January, and that we're going to host again this coming year, for the leaders of the team that I'm a part of, Viva Vita. And we did a team like sneak peek, like what does it mean to be a coach? And she requested to join, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I didn't even know that she was interested in it. I literally never invited her at all. Is by the grace of God that she's part of this team, because she could have joined anybody else. And she started watching, and when I was on the flight coming home, she had messaged me and said, hey, do you want to meet at the splash pad next week? And I thought she wanted to meet to like let our kids hang out. We have the exact same age kids. We were in MOPS together. So I was like, sure, well, I'll meet you at the splash pad. So we sat down at the splash pad, and she was like, so I think I might want to be a coach. And I was like, oh, you do? And I remember at the time, I was not that far into coaching. I mean, I was a diamond coach at the time, but I built half of my diamond with my husband, and the other half was a total discount coach that wanted nothing to do with the business. I had never signed up somebody to work the business at that time. Everybody, all of my early success as a coach was all built with discount coaches. And so Amanda was like, I think I want to sign up as a coach. I did not know what to do, you guys. I want you to understand, even then, at that time, even as a diamond coach, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, sure, I'll sign you up as a coach. So again, I had signed lots of people up as a coach, but they were all discount coaches. And I just gave her the team, I put her in our team page, again, thinking literally nothing was ever going to come of this. And I had put up, and again, so if today is her 4-year coach anniversary, we probably had our um, splash pad date on the 25th. She signed, or maybe even today, and then she signed up 24 hours later or that same day or something. And then it was in that next week that I posted about that I would be going to Summit in our team page. Nobody at the time, again, I don't even know why I posted it, because I was planning on taking my husband with us and our kids, and we were going to go to um, Louisiana. At the time, it was going to be in New Orleans. And she wrote on the thing and she was like, "What is Summit?" And I was like, "Oh my God, Matt, like she wants to know what Summit." Like I'm sitting there talking to her on the couch. And he was like, "Well, tell her what Summit is." So I told her what Summit was. I was like, "It's a health and fitness conference. We do it every year. It's really, really fun. We're going to get a house." I have asked a couple other girls if they want to get a house with us. And she's like, "I think I want to go. Like, can you send me the link for tickets?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yes, I do. I will send you a link for ticket." Mind you, I mean, this was like less than 2 or 3 days. I tell you all of this to tell you, number one, don't ever discount anybody. I thought Amanda didn't need this. I thought that she had all of it taken care of. I thought that she really had her stuff together fitness wise and health wise. She had her family in town. She didn't need a community. I thought that even though when she did sign up, I still thought she would never do anything. But I kept listening to what I would consider the Holy Spirit, but whatever you want to call it, you're just like inner voice saying, just post it. Like, who cares? Nobody's going to see it anyway. Doesn't really matter. Just post it. And then she responded. And then we go to Summit. It was amazing, as it always is. We're driving because we drove to New Orleans together and back. And so we're driving back and she's like, "Okay, so I need to be diamond and I got to start with being emerald, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, you do." And she's like, "Okay, so I can be emerald though if I sign my mom up, because she needs to be drinking Shakeology, and my husband, because he's already stealing my Shakeology, because at this point it had been about a month, and she and her husband had lost weight doing 21-day fix." And I was like, "Yeah." So she literally got out of my car, went into her house. We drove all the way back to Clarksville, got into her house. Within 24 hours, she was emerald, and she took off just like that. And she has been consistent with her journey, consistent with sharing, consistent with showing up ever since. And guys, that's all it takes. I think that we put coaches who have long-term success up on a really high pedestal, but we're going to talk about tonight the 5 C's of why that happens, and then how to invite to support around that. So I wanted to share that little story just because I think I'm just very grateful for Amanda's presence on our team. And I think it's a really fun story to note how people come into this business sometimes when you are not doing things to help yourself, And if I had talked myself out of the confidence in talking to her about coaching, if I had talked myself out of posting in our team page about Summit, if I had talked myself out, because I'm very good at doing that, none of this would have ever happened. And so it's really cool to see how just doing the things you're told to do results in really amazing ripple effects. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Couple of quick announcements. We are having a Team Nourished Team Summit July 14th through the 16th. Speaking of Summit, in Austin, Texas this year. It is at the Marriott. Tickets are available now. If you need the link, let us know and we will get you the link. Myself, Michelle, somebody will get you the link. Diamond dinner and recognition. If you are diamond for 6 weeks or more this calendar year, you get to go to the diamond dinner and be recognized in that. And then you also get to be celebrated at the Diamond Day on Saturday the 17th. So Michelle is 2 weeks away from holding her 6-week qual, which she is doing with so much grace and ease. And it's really, really been a joy to watch her bloom into this amazing coach that she has become. So I always feel like, I don't know, I'm always like, I knew it. I knew she'd be amazing, but I'm not going to, push her beyond where she wants to be at that present time. So
it only took me 2 years to decide I wanted to actually coach.
You know what though? That it's funny that you even say something like that, because that's another one though that I mean, in your own time. You know, you have to come to it on your own, and you have to start opening yourself up to those new opportunities. But I mean, I don't know. We'll talk more as the call goes on, but I mean, it doesn't take as much as your mind makes it out to be in the beginning. So I get it. Okay, couple of other announcements. Cookies and Creamy. I had it today. It is so good. And this is actually a very accurate representation of the color of it. So I think that that's, helpful, because I wondered if it was going to be dark. I wondered if it was going to be light. I, didn't really know what it was going to look like. But this is a fairly accurate representation. My first initial thoughts on it is it tastes it's like vanilla, but better. Like, and that's kind of how I feel about cookies and cream ice cream too. It's like vanilla, but better. It's very, very reminiscent of the ice cream. All I made it with today was ice and half unsweetened almond milk and half water, just because that's my normal go-to. Um, I don't know that I would add fruit into it. I think that might be a little weird, but I also kind of want to experiment when I get a full bag. I'm not going to experiment with my samples of it. But it is very, very, very good. And it's not overly sweet, which I was a little worried about after the salted caramel last year, that it would be like too sweet if they're trying to do cookies. It is not overly sweet, which I appreciated. The other two things to note about it, just in case you are somebody who cares about stuff like this, like I am, cookie or not cookies and cream, vegan Shakeology has been reformulated, and it is going out now. Excuse me. Throat's dry, with the new reformulation. And so that's not really that big of a deal, except to note that if you are somebody who needs probiotics in their life, which I am a firm believer that just about everybody in America does, because we don't eat nearly healthy enough, this new reformulation does have 2 billion CFUs of the probiotics that are used. And then they have also upped the omega-3s from ALA, which I think is really good. The other ones had both of both omega-3s and the probiotics in it, but they weren't as plentiful as they have now, which I think is awesome. And then the other thing that's really cool about it is now it is certified gluten-free, whereas before it was always gluten-free, but it was never certified gluten-free. So, and then, I don't know why that says get ready for cookies and creamy, but Beachbody, what am I trying to say? Beachbody On Demand Interactive. So Body is going to be launching this summer, which is really exciting. If you have a Nutrition Plus account right now, you will be a part of the beta test come August, and you will get to try it out. So that is going to be the interactive version of Beachbody On Demand. There's going to be live classes every day. All the super trainers are getting together and formulating like when they're going to be going in their live classes, all of that cool stuff. And then they are going to have the option for interactive, which I think is really cool, because you're able to turn on essentially like a Zoom camera and be on screen. So it's like showing up to class early and getting that front seat. You can be on the screen in the background of the workout, which is really kind of cool. And the trainers will, have your name up there, and you can be like, yeah, go Michelle, keep pushing. I see you're struggling. Like, and that's really encouraging for a lot of people. So that is really exciting. And then also the partnership with Feed FM is going to come along with that as well. So there'll be new music and popular music set to the workouts, which is exciting. Couple of social media tips. Tonight we are going to be talking about inviting, but I feel like you can't talk about inviting without some kind of social media presence around your business. And so if we're going to do this, let's do it right and do it better than we're doing it right now. So I wanted to share 4 tips about your images and how to make them better, more eye-catching, and continue to just evolve in that area. So the first tip is brighter equals better. Brighter images gain up to 60% more engagement than darker images. My favorite tool to help brighten up your image is Snapseed. It's just a free app. I love it. You can also download Lightroom, and you can purchase different presets if you want, or play with images. I am more of a simple is better. I don't have time to sit around and play with pictures all day long, as fun as that is. I, have 2 kids and a life and all the things and need to be efficient. So Snapseed is my go-to. Number two, keep it simple. You want your images to emphasize what you want them to see. If you've got a cluttered background or distractions behind you, your photo loses its focus. Standing by a plain wall or using a blurred effect reduces how much of your background your audience sees. That is not to say, I always want to caveat some of this with like, nobody's asking for things to look perfect. Like, I actually don't like it when things are overly produced. So just know that there's a difference between making a simple choice of moving to take a picture here and moving to take a picture here. Like, you can't see my hair, you can't see what I'm trying to get you to see. But here on the more plain background, it's more defined. So that's what I mean when I say like cluttery backgrounds. Like, look at when you are taking a photo, if you just twisted a different way or you did it at a different angle, if it would help you be able to see what you're trying to see better. I see that a lot. It's like you have a dark shirt on and you're standing in front of a dark background in a dark room. It's like nobody can see what you're trying to get them to see. So make sure you're highlighting the right things of your photo. And then three is like the simplest thing, but I see more people not do this than anybody else in the entire world, and it drives me incredibly insane. Clean off your lens. All you got to do, take this, take your shirt, and go like this. I cannot tell you the amount of photo clarity that comes. And it's funny, even on Zoom, before I get on, you guys, I take the hem of my shirt and I wipe my camera, because every time I open and shut my computer, it's like my thumb is right on top of the camera. And so just those finger oils, just the makeup and the dust and the crumbs, and I live in Hawaii, so the sand and the sweat, it just coats it. And I think it's like the easiest thing to forget about, but it is like the number one thing that brightens and clarifies your picture. So just, if you're one of the people that like cares about scratches and stuff like that, like maybe don't use your hem of your shirt, like get one of the little cloth cleaners. I'm not good at that. So that's why my glasses are scratched, and probably my camera lens too. But just give your lens a quick little wipe. It improves clarity and reduces glare like you have no idea. And then be mindful of cropping. Just make sure, again, this kind of goes with when you are thinking of what you want to post, like make sure you crop your picture so that people can see what you want them to see. If you're like all over here and you're trying to take a picture of yourself, like that doesn't work. Like, bring the thing that you want in the photo to be seen into the photo to be seen. And the other thing is, I was talking to a coach on another team today because she was sending me some photos and asking me some questions about them. And she was like, but these don't look right. They don't look right. And I was like, well, you can crop them and you can get the photo to look the way you want it to look. So play with cropping too and see how, if tightening it up makes it better. There was a photo by Ashley Molstead. This was, or maybe it was Lindsay Matway. I think it was Lindsay Matway, who was top coach forever and ever and ever for so many years. She did a photo on Instagram one time to show you like Instagram versus reality. And she's like, I literally did nothing to this photo other than crop it in tight on me. And it was like her sitting on a bed with like her laptop on her lap. And so it looks professional and clean and like super, super cool in that like first one. And then she removes the cropping. She like puts it up in the way that it was actually taken. And it's like the bedside tables are all junked up. She's got her kids' play toys on the side. And like, that's a different type of photo. If you're trying to show like building a business among the chaos, then absolutely the chaos should be in the photo. If you're trying to show mom boss getting it done in a cutesy little photo, that doesn't include your side table that's piled up with, junk. So just be mindful of what you're trying to show people, and you can crop to, make it what you want. So I thought I would give you guys those tips. And then okay, so we're going to go into inviting. We have about 30 minutes. If you have questions while I'm going over this, please put them in the comments or the chat, because this is an interactive. Our team call is not about just me like preaching at you guys. I want this to be an interactive discussion. But I wanted to go over, like I said at the beginning of the call, inviting, because we have a lot of new coaches on our team that really do struggle with this. And I know that this is the hardest part about being a coach. It's the thing that tripped me up forever and ever and ever. I share with you my story about Amanda Harold. I am very good at getting in my head about who needs this, and I invent stories of what I think that person needs and doesn't need. And I'll go into a little bit more of Amanda's story. I wish she was here so she could tell it herself. But guys, she was drowning. She's a caretaker for her husband who had a stroke, and she had two young kids. She had no sense of community, no sense of what she could be doing to serve, like to even fill her own cup. And she needed this community. And had I not said something like, I mean, had I not answered her questions and had I just brushed it off, because I can't tell you how many people before that had asked me stuff and I degraded myself in the way that I talked. I like degraded is probably the wrong word, but like I eroded their confidence in me by the way I evaded the questions or brushed it off like it was no business or was just like, oh, yeah, that's just something I do on the side to keep busy. Like, how many times, like, think about conversations that you've had, have you brushed it off and not answered their actual questions about the possibilities of what this coaching opportunity can be, or what actually happens in a boot camp? Like, I remember people asking me, like, what do you mean, like, you host an online boot camp? And because I didn't lead with confidence, I'm like, well, I don't know, it's like, it's just like this Facebook group that I have, and like I hold people accountable, and like, I don't know, we do a nightly food post. Like, that is one way of presenting it, or there's the way of presenting it with confidence. That's like, yeah, oh my gosh, so I run an online boot camp. It's hosted on Facebook. We also have like a platform that's not on social media if you're not into that. Every single day I offer motivation, encouragement, accountability. We're constantly cheering each other on. You get meal plans. There's a workout platform. Like, it is literally the best. Those two things lead to very different outcomes. The first conversation is like, cool. And then they walk away. You may never hear from them again. Second conversation is like, oh my gosh, tell me more. Like, do you make money doing that? That's amazing. Or how can I get involved with that? I need that. So it just, the confidence in it is really, really key. And that's why I kind of cut this down into the 5 C's of crushing your goals. So confidence is the number one. And I will tell you, and I've said it before 100 times on a team call, confidence isn't something that just happens. You have to build it. It is a muscle, just like anything else. I was talking to what I'm speaking at Summit this year. And I was talking to Jeff Matheson, who's a part of corporate, and we were discussing like confidence and all of that that's changed in the last 7 years of me. And I was like, you would not even recognize me. Like, I look back at photos and it's not about the weight loss. Like, yes, 85 pounds is amazing. That is not the part of the photo that is changed, in my opinion. Like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. It is the way I carry myself. It's the way I talk to other people. It's the way I present things. It's the way I talk about what I do. And it's not in an egotistical way, but it is in a confident way. And that comes with practice. And it comes with just doing it over and over and over again. It comes with taking coaching from other people. When I send them a screenshot of my conversation and I'm like, I don't know what to say, and they send me back like what they would say, and I'm like, okay, and I borrow their confidence. Guys, that is one of my favorite things to talk about in the coaching realm and as a whole, is borrowing. If it's your coach, if it's somebody you look up to, if it's me, if it's Michelle, if it's Samantha, if it's Kim, if it's whoever, maybe it's not on our team. I know Carrie Summers really connects with Christina Delgado. She just loves her. I guarantee what she loves her about her is her confidence. So borrow Christina's confidence. If you watch Moira's stuff and you love Moira's confidence, borrow Moira's confidence. Put on that. We talked about this in our boot camp, but like the 1.0 version of yourself versus the 2.0 version of yourself, like put on that 2.0 person's confidence, put on whatever the persona of that person needs to be, but give yourself a little pep talk and go into that with the excitement and the confidence about what you do. And again, confidence is built over time. So don't think that you're just going to wake up tomorrow and be this like super confident Sally. Like you just keep practicing and you keep building belief in what you do. And that the confidence for me came a lot in the belief of what I did. Um, you know how else you get confident is consistency. You do not build confidence without consistency. This is also every single one of these C's is going to directly translate into inviting. So, consistency in the way you show up on your personal journey, consistency in the way you show up on social media, consistency in the way you show up in your boot camp, I mean, like, I know I was talking to Paige and she was like, that's such a trigger word for me. I hate consistency. And I was like, that's because that's the one thing you need. Like, if you've got the confidence and you've got the ability to connect with people and you've got a compelling vision and you've got a call to action, but you're not consistent, you will not be building a business. It's just the way it is. Consistency builds trust. When I know that that person is going to continue to show up because they have shown up for the last year, I am more likely to trust them. And that's the thing that, like, I think so many people get off kilter in the beginning of their coaching journey is because they forget that the consistency is built from day one and they get sidetracked when somebody tells them no and they fall off of consistency. And then you have to spend all that time building back up trust again. If you were just consistent from day one, it solves so many problems. So consistency again in your own journey, consistency in showing up on social media, consistency in inviting and conversating with other people, all of that is built, that's building trust. Those are those bricks and foundation of trust. And then connection is going to go a lot into inviting, but making a genuine and authentic connection with someone is so different than false connection, like trying to figure out a way to feel connected with somebody. I remember there was this whole thing in coaching advice that was about like, this was years ago, like find 10 things about yourself and go find other people that match those 10 things. So like one of the things is I had before he passed a miniature schnauzer. I loved him. He was my baby. He was my first baby before my kids were my baby, but he's a dog. Okay. Like I love him, but like trying to forge connection with other people online about a dog did not feel authentic to me. Cause I'm like, okay, how do I start this conversation? Hey, I see you also have a miniature schnauzer. How's that going? Like, I don't know what to say about that. Like, that's not a genuine and authentic connection to me. And so the cool thing about social media now versus back then is stories. Stories help so much. You can conversate off of stories all day long. I think it's so easy to like start a natural conversation out of stories versus like you also have a cool dog. Very nice. So do I. I always felt like a robot in that. So just being really authentic and genuine in your connection. I'm going to help you with that tonight too. Create a compelling vision. Guys, you have to have something that people want to get behind. You cannot have something that you are not excited about. If you are not excited about your boot camp, nobody else is going to be either. If you're not excited about your program, nobody else is going to be either. If you're not excited about what you want to do, nobody else is going to get behind it either. So you've got to spend the time. And this is not something that I can do in a 30-minute call with you. This is something you have to spend time on, is knowing what you're trying to build. And that doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I want to build a 6-figure business and I want to do this and I want to do that. Like, what kind of life do you want to have? Again, I go back to the mindset minutes we've talked about in the boot camp this month. Knowing what 2.0 version of you looks like. Like, what does that next version of you look like? What does she do with her day? How does she speak to her kids? How does she, treat her body? What does she do with her time? Does she work full time? Does she work part time? Does she not work outside the home at all? And she gets to go paddleboarding every Tuesday with her girlfriends. Like, you have to have something to be driving to. You have to have a vision and you have to put it in front of you and really focus on that vision and then share from that authentic place of creating that. And then calls to action, they're in your posts. We're going to talk about those again tonight because you've got to have something to invite to. You cannot invite if you don't have something to invite to, because what ends up happening is somebody's going to say yes, and then you are going to flop around like a fish because you don't know what you're inviting to. So you have to have a good call to action. Okay, so a couple of things to go into this, and I'm going to make these slides available in our team call so you can copy and paste, or in our team page so you can copy and paste them. But some of this is like just in our team page. But so I broke down a couple of scripts, and I always hesitate to use scripts because I used scripts and was encouraged to use scripts for a really long time, and I did not know how to use them well. For a long, long time. I thought, I don't know what I thought, but it did not sound like me and it was super inauthentic. So, what I would rather you do is when you get these slides, you don't have to do it right now, read them into a like voice, like, so go open the notes app of your phone and then click the voice thing and read it out loud. And so when you're reading it out loud and when you're starting to say it over and over, you will find that some of it does not sound like you. That's because you didn't write this. But when you do it the voice to text, your new text is going to sound like you because it's what you would say. So if it's, hey, Michelle, hope you guys are doing well. Like maybe you wouldn't say, hope you guys are doing well. Like, I don't know what you would say, but this is what I would say. Do y'all have big plans this weekend? Again, maybe that's not something you would say. But I just wanted to let you know I'm getting started with being a health and fitness coach and trying to build a client list. I need some people that know me to start so that you can give me honest feedback about the program and my coaching. I thought of you because fill in the blank, like why did you think they would be a good person for this? And I would love the opportunity to work with you and have you give me honest feedback about my coaching so that I can improve. No worries if you're not interested. I just wanted to reach out to you specifically. So that is somebody who is a new coach, because like this would not work for me. At 7 years in, if I approached somebody with a thing that said, I'm just getting started being a health and fitness coach, they'd be like, what the hell is this? No, you're not. So this is really, really good for someone who wants to be a part of building a business, whether that's helping 3 people a month or helping 30 people a month, doesn't really matter. Your new person doesn't need to know that. You might want to clarify that in your mind, but like you're getting yourself out there. And I think that just getting yourself out there really, really helps. So again, the two key parts for me, like no matter what you change about this, I think you need to keep these things in, use the person's name, and I thought of you because when you connect it to that person on a human level, and that goes back to that one of the 5 C's, right? Connection. You are making a relationship more solid there. It's not a copied and pasted static message. We all have gotten, hey girl, I'm hosting a pampered chef party this Tuesday, and I know you would love the baking stone and blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't, it's, you just copy and pasted that to every single person on your list. You did not like, you're not giving any forethought to that. So if you're going to do something like this, I would only send like 3 to 5 of these in a day, because I want you to really sit down and think about that other person and think about why you would want to work with them in the beginning. This is another one, and this could totally be a new coach as well, but I use this a lot because it's true and authentic. And I will say I also usually use voice messaging. So I use the voice messaging in Facebook and the voice messaging in Instagram, just because I think it, again, creates a more human to human connection. It's a whole lot harder for them to ignore that way. And I feel like they can hear the authenticity in my voice. Like they're not just, it's not just some copied and pasted thing. And so I really like voice texting. But hey, I know this is super random and this works really well if you've like literally never talked to the person about this. And we've literally never talked about this before, but your name keeps coming up when I think about who I want to coach with. Have you ever thought of coaching before? I'd love to send you some info if you want to check it out. This is really good for somebody who's, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to help other people build businesses. I think that that's really scary for a lot of people because they're like, well, I didn't come into this to build a business. I just want to help more people. That's also helping more people. Like building a business is also helping more people. Use whatever verbiage you want to around it. But if you are going to help more people, you can't do it alone. That's something I wish I had learned from day one. I thought that, and in typical true Enneagram 8 fashion, I can do all things by myself, right? Like, I don't need anybody's help. I don't trust anybody to help me. Like, I got this. And I am very capable and built a mildly decent business in the beginning by myself. But one of my favorite quotes is, you can go, was it, you can go fast by yourself, but you can go further together. And so to me, having other people building this alongside of you is way more fun than trying to do it yourself. It's way more fun to hop on the phone and be like, oh my God, let's do a power hour together. Let's get on the team call together. And you're chatting off to the side and you're doing the things together. It's fun to build a business with other people. And so that is the type of coaching invite that I would send for that. And then this one goes back to consistency, because if you are not being consistent online, it's really freaking hard to invite from a post if the last post you did was 2 weeks ago. Like, I can't tell you how many times I talk to people about this and they're like, oh, I don't know, I posted about something. And it doesn't have to be like your transformation, but something about coaching, fitness, health, nutrition, something. And you haven't done that in weeks. And so this feels really awkward when you start doing this. But if you just did this yesterday, it's really easy to continue the cycle of inviting people this way. Hey, Michelle, thank you for the love on my transformation post. It's always awkward for me to put stuff like that out there. Yes, even though I've been a coach forever, you can just delete that part if you haven't been a coach forever. But if it helps encourage one person, I'm here for it. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you for the love and see if you've ever considered joining my boot camp. Can I send you some info? We start, include your start date. And that goes back to that call to action thing we were talking about, you guys. As much as it's kind of like the whole social media thing, right? Like, if my job did not depend, if living in the 21st century did not necessitate me being a part of social media in some regard, I wouldn't be there. You want to know something? Marketing psychology, if I didn't have to use it, I wouldn't. But the reality is, marketing psychology is a thing because it works. We all fall victim to it. You can think that you're better than it and it doesn't affect you, but you're a liar and you're wrong. Because I will tell you right now, if I think something is going off sale tomorrow, I will buy it today. If I think there are only 5 spots in that yoga class and there are 4 spots filled, I want to be that 5th spot. Like, it is human nature to want to act in urgency when urgency is created. If you're like, we start anytime you're ready, well, guess who's never, ever, ever going to be ready? Me. I will never, ever, ever be ready. So yes, my boot camp does have a hard start date of the first Monday of the month. Can anybody join at any point in time? Absolutely. But it does make a natural transition, and it gives me a date to invite to when I have a hard start date. So I always encourage people to have a hard start date. It gives you personally a sense of urgency. If you're here to build a business and you want to maintain a group that's consistently growing and there's new energy in there and new people are being helped, you've got to give yourself a date. And so I always put that out there. We start the 1st of June, or we start June 7th. But I love the question, can I send you some info? Because that really, I will tell you, I sent a lot of messages in the beginning with, what do you think? And I got crickets. Nobody ever, because nobody wants to tell you what they think. What they think is no, thank you. But when I give them the option to say no, typically I get a response. And if it's fine if they say no. I don't care if somebody says no to me. Good. One less person I have to worry about on my list, right? Like, I just want to help the people who want to be helped. And so giving them the option, can I send you some info? There's no commitment in that whatsoever, but what it does is continue the conversation. And so I have a thing on on our team page. If you click the announcements, you can scroll down and there's literally like a step by step. They say this and then you send them this. They say this and then you send them this, so that you can just roll down the information. But usually when what the funniest thing is like, you finally get somebody that's like, yeah, can you send me some more info? And you're like, oh my God, Michelle, what do I send them? Or Michelle will send me a message, oh my God, what do I send them? Like, calm down. It's okay. Here are their choices. I usually give 2 choices. I do not usually, sometimes 3. Now, really, there's only two choices for enrollment. You get the Let's Get Up package, or like, well, right now I'm only giving one choice for enrollment because Let's Get Up is $140 and it's stupid not to get it. Like, the when we were doing 9-week Control Freak, the two options I gave them were with equipment and without equipment. That was the two options. So you paid 190 with equipment or 180 or whatever it was, and you paid 160 if you didn't want equipment, which meant they weren't doing 9-week Control Freak at the time. So those are the two options I gave them. I run it down. I tell them you get a year's worth of access to Beachbody On Demand. You get me as your coach. You get access into our boot camp. You get a 4-week meal plan. Like, I outline the like bullet points of what they get. And then I say, what questions do you have? I don't ever ask, what do you think? That is like the worst open-ended question in the whole world because nobody ever answers that. I usually give them 24 hours and then I respond. I go right back into, hey, did you have a chance to look at what I sent you? Because we're going to talk about follow-ups here in a minute too. I don't want to run out of time because we're running short now. I'm going to put these two graphics up in the team page after this call, but here are some really simple invitations, especially if you're inviting to the coaching opportunity and you follow people on Instagram that you think are great. Like, hey, I love the way you share your journey on Instagram. Super inspiring. Have you ever considered being a coach? Short, to the point. You're complimenting them. It's not awkward. The next one, girl, you are such a natural encourager. Can I just tell you something from experience? Don't say that to people who are super freaking negative. I remember I was going through and inviting like crazy one time, and I sent that to somebody who is not a natural encourager whatsoever. And she was like, no, I'm really not. And I was like, oh God, you really aren't, are you? Like, you're actually really negative and I don't want you to be a coach on our team. Just kidding. Delete. So anyways, but if there's somebody that you think is just really encouraging and always uplifting and positive on social media and you'd like the opportunity to work with them, just tell them you're a natural encourager. You make an incredible coach. Have you ever considered it? Could be a way to monetize what you already do naturally. I think about a lot of people that I've met online through different social media things who are constantly wanting to be an influencer or an affiliate. And I'm like, you're already doing this. Why not actually make money doing it instead of trying to get the attention of a company to give you some free stuff? You know what I mean? Like, just make the investment and then you can go forward in it. And then very simple, oh my gosh, you are so adorable. Are you a coach too? That's actually how Meredith got Courtney Burton. She saw her on Instagram, thought she was super cute, asked her if she was a new coach on the team that she hadn't met yet. And Courtney was like, no, what team are you talking about? And then Meredith went into, oh my God, yeah, so I host an elite coaching team and da 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 da. And so then Courtney started, she said no to her, but she started following her. And now she's an elite coach on our team. So like, even when people aren't positive in their response to begin with, like they don't immediately sign up, like don't give up on them. That doesn't mean that they won't end up being amazing. I go back to Moira was a challenger in Meredith's group for like a year and a half. She was a challenger and she was a crappy challenger too. Like hardly ever did accountability. She'd have like a totally bingey weekend and then be like, oh my God, I'm back and I'm going to do accountability and I'm totally engaged in this. And then she'd fall off the face of the earth. And then she'd come back after Memorial Day when she's like, oh my God, I'm so bloated and I have to have accountability. So she'd plug back into the accountability group. Then a couple weeks later, she'd be gone. So like if the number one coach in all of Beachbody started as a horrible challenger, don't give up on people. Like you don't know what people are capable of. So, and then here are some simple follow-ups for different excuses. I don't have any time, which I can't handle that excuse. I'm like, girl, come on. We all have 24 hours. But then always give them the opportunity. Do you want me to follow up with you next month and see if the timing works better for you? I always keep a list of people that like I go to the next month on the 1st and write down who I need to follow up with. I had a whole list of people May the 1st to follow up with because, April wasn't right for them. So, okay, I'll follow up with you May 1st. No money. There's lots of no monies, which, no to coaching. That's another big one. But like I said, I'm going to share this graphics. Don't worry about that. And then some other follow-up messages. These are just really easy ways to follow up. I think so many times people make like they just make it so much harder than it has to be, and they overthink their words and they word vomit all over people. And like the simpler you can keep it and the shorter you can keep it, the better it is. People get confused and lost when there's way too many words. So, my quickest, easiest thing, and this is like the end of what I wanted to share. My quickest, easiest thing is, like I said, hey, thank you so much for the love on my post the other night. I really appreciate it. Have you ever considered joining our team? Have you ever considered coaching? Depending on who the person is. And then I just go back to, don't make up somebody else's story for them. You have no idea what people need. You don't know, like, I don't know. I just think, especially maybe it's always driven home, but especially in the last year with COVID, like you have no idea the mental place somebody is in and what they desperately, desperately need, because they show up with a smile on social media. You don't know that they're like, they hate the way they look in their bathing suit. You don't know that they feel lonely and disengaged and have no purpose. You think that oh my God, she's so happy. She's a brand new mom. She must just be totally in love with her baby. That was not me. I love my kids, but like, that was not me. I needed adult interaction. I needed purpose outside of parenting. And so this was the fit for me. So, all right, you guys, we are running right up on time. Does anybody have any questions? I'm happy, comments, feedback about this or anything else. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you need.
I just wanted to share 2 quick stories of people that enrolled with me. One, a mom of 3, her husband's deployed. She like does farm work, super busy, driving kids back and forth to practice and school. I think she's homeschooling too. And I was like, she's too busy. She's not gonna want to do this. I finally messaged her, invited. I didn't even explain what was involved, what came with enrollment, nothing. I just said, hey, I have this group. I'd love to have you join us with all these other moms. And she said, yes. And she was like, I'm sorry, was that over exciting? Because yes, I need this. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, let me get you signed up right now.
Right.
And then even Sam, we talked today that we met each other in Germany. We can't even really remember how we met. Sam and I haven't talked on Facebook since we left Germany or at all. And she just messaged me out of the blue and said she wanted to coach because she'd been watching me for, I don't know how long you're watching, but you just never know. Like, I never would have invited her probably. Like, I didn't talk to her.
Right.
But she was watching. So the consistency there plays off big time.
Well, you, my friend, I know we've talked about this 100 times, but you're the queen of consistency. It is my favorite quality about you. And maybe because, like, I don't know, I have also, and like, not to toot your own horn, because you don't want to toot your own horn, right? But like, at the same time, I have been consistently posting accountability in that Facebook group since day one. I don't think I've missed a week. You know what I mean? Like, it is just as much for me as it is for anybody in that group. I've helped hundreds and probably thousands of women by this point. It is just as much for me as it is for them. Like, so I think that when you see people who have that kind of consistent spark, like, they're going to do something big, because that in and of itself is a feat for the majority of people. And what's not a big deal for you is a huge deal for other people. So I think that that's like, I don't know, just, you never know. I love what you said. Like, you just never know who's watching you. And just by you showing up consistently, like, there are so many people in our boot camp that are so inspired by you showing up consistently in nightly accountability. There are so many people who like watch you on social media and you think they're not watching, and they come at you out of the blue and you're like, you don't even like my posts. I can't tell you how many times I've had people like come to me and they're like, oh my God, you're just, you're so positive and you're so encouraging. I like scroll back and I'm like, you don't even like my stuff. Like, you don't even do like just the double tap. Like, you don't even look at my stuff, I thought, but you don't know who's watching. So yeah, keep consistent and keep posting and keep sharing your journey. It is inspiring people. All right, you guys. Well, thank you guys for getting on the call. If you have any questions about this or anything else, please feel free to message me or post them in the team page. There's something else I was going to say. Oh, the other thing that I was going to say, especially for Kim, I mean, this goes for all three of you, but especially for Kim being a new coach and Sam, like one of the things that I wish more of my people did was screenshot conversations and send them to me. That is always like, I say it to people and I think I'm kidding. Like the people who do that are the people who get results. Like they are the ones that enroll people. Michelle, right? Like Carrie, Amanda. I can't tell you how many of the leaders and the people who are consistently helping other people enroll are the ones who screenshot me and they're like, I'm so sorry to be annoying. I didn't mean, I'm like, I told you to screenshot me. I mean it. Like, you don't know how to say stuff to people until somebody, and you're like, oh, you just need somebody outside of you to look at the conversation and then send them that. So don't ever be afraid to send a screenshot to Michelle. I mean, I feel super confident in the way that you speak to people. Me, I don't care. Like, just send me a screenshot. I'll help. So, all right, you guys, talk to you soon. Have a good night.